let him do so. And whosoever does not find even anything, even he have no half a day to do to give for charity, anything, then Holy Prophet said, then let him say a good word with smiling face. This is an act of charity. And Holy Prophet said, and good deed performed to please Allah or to help other and to please other people, no mentioning of Muslims, just to please other people and help them, is rewarded tenfold up to the 700-fold. Now here lies the main secret of Holy Prophet's life and his teaching. This is first speech. You see, when he was giving his first sermon in Medina, and there was thousands of enthusiastic lovers in front of him, Holy Prophet did not express any anger. There was no bitterness on his face. There was no irritation in his mood, irritation in his mood. There was no annoyance. There was no displeasure or resentment found on his face against Meccans who had forced him to leave his dear homeland. He was not looking provoked. He was not looking frustrated. He was not looking antagonized. There were no signs of wrath or anxiety on his beautiful, lovely, adorable and enchanting face. He did not speak about revenge. He did not speak about retribution. He did not speak about retaliation. He did not utter a single word about Meccan's persecution and torture. Even he did not complain against what they have been doing with him. For the last 13 years, he did not even mention their name in his speech. See how calm he was, how patient he was, how happy he was, how confident he was, how forbearing he was, how forgiving he was, how loving he was, how merciful he was, how compassionate he was, and how he was having the highest rank of humanistic virtues in his life. So in the light of this speech, let me say that Holy Prophet is the prophet of piety. He is the prophet of morality. He is the prophet and messenger of purity. He is the messenger of charity. He is the messenger of honesty. He is the messenger of peace. And he is the messenger of humanity. My brothers belonging to different faith, do you agree with this or not? Ji? Subhanallah. He just spoke about consciousness, hope and righteousness. This was his first speech delivered in Medina. Now, another event takes place 8 years after migration, and that is the conquest of Mecca. I am giving you a sketch of his whole life so that you may judge Holy Prophet's seerah and conduct and his behavior and his life from every aspect and every dimension, at every occasion and every moment of time in his life. Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 8 years after his migration, comes back. He left Mecca as a migrant, and he entered Mecca 8 years later as a conqueror, but without any bloodshed. Without any bloodshed. And this day, 8th year of migration, this day was February 11th. February 11th, 630 AD. when Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he entered in Mecca, the people were standing there, waiting. They were hoping that he would give them audience before giving a verdict on their fate. Every single person of the pagan Arabs of Mecca, they were hoping that they would be decapitated, they would be killed, there would be a very big revenge, they would be tortured and murdered. And they hoped, as if he would give them audience, he would allow them to say a word for forgiveness or pardon before he passes his verdict against them. They were thinking like that. When all of a sudden, Prophet Muhammad Rahmatul Lil Alameen appeared at the threshold of the Kaaba. He surveyed the crowd in front of him and addressed. Now listen to the words of Holy Prophet's speech of conquest of Mecca. He said, Ya Ma'shara Quraysh, Inna Allah qad azhaba ankum nakhbat al-jahiliyyah wa ta'azzamaha bil-aba. An-nasu min Adam wa Adam min turab. ثم تلا هذه الآية يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى إلى آخر الآية. ثم قال يا معشر قريش ما ترون أني فاعل فيكم أو ما ترون أني فاعل بكم. قال خيرا أخ كريم وابن أخ كريم. قال اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. It is in Sirah ibn Hisham, in Al-Kamil, Sirah Halabiyya, Sunan Kubra by Imam Behki. He stood up and stood, there is no God but Allah, He is one and the one alone. Then Holy Prophet ﷺ said, praise and thanks to Him, He has fulfilled His promise, He has helped His slave to victory. Such a humility. He has fulfilled His promise with His slave, and He has dispersed the gangs of His enemies. Then He speaks. He says, O people, listen to me. All the arrogance and distinctions and the prides and all unjust claims of blood of the times of ignorance are being cancelled from today. There would be no revenge. There would be no retribution. There would be no retaliation. O Quraysh, Allah has destroyed the arrogance of the times of ignorance. All men are children of Adam, and Adam was created from dust. Then Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam questioned. He posed a question to the Quraysh, those who were shattered, shocked and scared. He asked his enemies, how do you think I am going to treat you now? He posed a question to them. O people, pagan Arabs, what do you think? How do you think I am going to treat you now? They said, you are a generous and kind brother and son of a kind and generous brother. We expect only charity and forgiveness from you. Holy Prophet replied, he said, I'll tell you what Prophet Joseph said to his brother. There is no blame on you today. Go now. All of you are free and there will be no revenge and retribution. He said there is no revenge and retribution and no retaliation. The Prophet ﷺ declared a general amnesty in Mecca, and he forbade his army to plunder the city or to seize anything that belonged to the Quraysh. The Quraysh had left nothing undone to compass his destruction and destruction of Islam. But in this hour of triumph, he condoned all crimes and transgressions. The Quraysh of Makkah could never believe on their ears. They could never understand how Muhammad ﷺ could resist the temptation to kill them, the temptation to take revenge from them. But through Holy Prophet's conduct and behavior and demonstration, everything, his peace-loving, being peace-loving, peacemaking, and his humanism became understandable to them, everyone. History, my dear brothers and sisters, cannot furnish an example of such forbearance and forgiveness. No single pagan was exterminated. Even the houses of companions which they had possessed, Holy Prophet said, you are not allowed to take them back. So this fascinating, complex story, which had started on February 12th, 610 in the cave of Hira, had climaxed on February 11, 630 in the court of Kaaba. It was a day of emotion, the day of promise, the day of significance, the day of symbolism, the day of mercy, the day of tolerance, the day of compassion, the day of kindness, the day of benevolence, the day of generosity, and it was celebrated as the day of humanism. Then comes 9th of Zil-Hijjah, 10th year of Holy Prophet's migration, last year of his life. When he comes to Mecca to perform last Hajj, it was 7th of March, 632 AD, the last Hajj sermon. Now 125,000 listeners and followers were standing in front of him as his audience. Look at his great success, but success through patience, success through forgiveness, success through mercy, success through character, and success through his morality. Let me explain. He had to participate in many wars and battles. But keep in mind, none of these wars was fought by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as a war of aggression. Every single war he fought or he was forced to participate was the war of defense. I reject every kind of accusation and wrong allegation against the merciful personality and history of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This was the jihad of Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the merciful jihad, the jihad of love, the jihad of passion, the jihad of compassion, the jihad of control and discipline of the self, jihad of forgiveness. So when he comes to Mecca, so again he says, Ya ayyuhan nas isma'u qawli fa inni la arani wa iyyakum najtami'u fi hadha al-majlis ba'da ami hadha abada. O my people, lend me an attentive ear. I know after this year we shall never get together at this place. So listen me carefully and take my words to those who could not be present here today. I don't want to go into the details of khutbah, of Hijjatul Wida. It's a detailed speech. I just want to give you the captions, just captions, headings. I have the full khutbah in front of me, but the time does not allow me to go into details. So I am going only up to the headings. So first of all, Holy Prophet announced the cancellation of old unjust socio-economic order through his last sermon of Hijjatul Wida, saying, Ala kullu shay'in min amril jahiliyyati ta'ad qadamiyya mawdu. Cancellation of all unjust socio-economic orders. and cancelling all those ignorant traditions, first of all, he forgave and disclaimed the right of retaliation from his own family. And he forgave and disclaimed exploitative transactions and loans of his own family members.